Hey, Homeworthy, I'm Andy.
And I'm Marshall. Welcome to our home in Texas.
Come on in.
Come on.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Andy Gonzalez Camp,
I'm Marshall Camp.
and welcome to our home in Houston, Texas.
Check it out. We moved into this house 2021 and we saw a lot of potential. That's where I would say the house was at. It was all potential. We had to knock down some walls. We had to paint the walls.
It wasn't our first choice either.
Yes. Yeah, we
missed out on our other home that we put an offer in.
Yes. And then years later, we went back and saw that same house.
Yeah.
And we're like, actually, we're kind of
We're
grateful.
so grateful,
Yeah.
that we stayed here.
Yeah. And there was more potential to what we could do with this house.
Mhm.
The other one was a lot more put together. So
Yeah,
we got to get our design and DIY kind of muscle.
our
itching.
vision come
Yeah.
to life. Yeah, and do it together too, because
Yeah.
we hadn't ever done anything like this together. So I didn't know your style a whole lot. You didn't really know mine, and so it was cool.
She had the style, and then according to her, I didn't have style. And so whenever we started rocking and rolling, like the accent wall, that was my idea, but then she, put her touch
Yeah.
on it with the frame.
Yeah,
so,
we definitely became a good team.
Yeah.
Similar styles now. Honestly, I didn't love a whole lot about this house. I was really sad about the first house we missed out on, but I think just envisioning knocking down the wall in the kitchen was a game changer here. We really got to work with what we had and then adjust, based on our needs and our wants for the house.
Yeah, and you don't have a whole lot of separation of space in the main area. And so
Yeah.
we enjoyed that.
Yeah.
We enjoyed that it doesn't feel closed off. We can have
Yeah.
a lot of people in here at one time and everyone feels spacious and comfortable.
Yeah.
So
I also love that it's a smaller home because I feel like it just really brings people together, I love a small home.
yeah, cozy.
Cozy,
Cozy,
yeah.
yes.
We met in 2018 in
Mhm.
college. Brief conversation. I was in full-time ministry. He was leading worship at a church, and I wanted to bring him on my team at the ministry I was working at. And it didn't really work out that way. And then 2 years later, in 2020, he slid in my DM.
That's right. Well, look, I told her she had painted something that was all janky, and I told her that the painting looked like Squidward from SpongeBob. And she said, "Wow, we can't be friends." And I said, "I'll settle for marriage, but I gotta ask my mom first."
Real forward.
And then literally we went back and forth, a little banter, asked her on a date, and now we're married. So
Yeah,
I guess
it was all really, really fast too.
9 months of dating and then 6 months engaged. Whenever I knew I loved her, that was it. Got the ring, and asked her to marry me a couple weeks later. And so that knowing I loved her, I really can't describe that. It was more just, hey, I know I want to spend my life with her. We're a good team. You want to go, there's an old saying, you want to marry someone you're willing to go to war with. And so that's it. We've gone through a lot of battles, a lot of wars,
Mhm.
but, right by each other's side in the mix. So
Yeah. But really, it was when you first saw me, right?
that's right. The moment I looked into those eyes.
Welcome to the entryway of our home. Right over here is one of the first things that you see when you walk in. This is the very first DIY project that we did in our home. It's just, you built this box, right? And then we
Yeah.
put contact paper on it to make it look like burled wood. And then we have a little catch-all for our keys. I think it's supposed to be a planter, but I just think it gives it a good little fun moment there.
So this is supposed to be a reading nook, but I don't think we've read any books sitting in this chair. But we love books. We love old books, new books. And so this is just kind of where they all end up. This right here is a Robert Fisher remake from 1964. It's a mate in two, so it's a puzzle. So when people come, they can try to see if they can solve the puzzle. And this was Andy's idea, even though I love
Well,
chess.
I took inspiration from a creator on Instagram, and we just made it a little bigger. And
Yeah.
you love chess. I don't know what's going on here, but
So this was her
Makes
sacrifice
sense.
for me. I wanted something like chess in the house, and we added that in.
Yeah. Over here, we just, like Marshall mentioned, we have all of our books. This is a piece by a local artist, Lauren Elsey. And then we have our gallery wall over here. This took time to curate. It definitely takes time to curate a gallery wall, I would say. And it took a lot of time, but it was so worth it because I love every piece on here.
Yeah.
This is my grandfather, my mom's dad, and just love honoring him. She is who she is because of him. So just love having him here.
This right here is a picture of some members of my family with Johnny Cash and Billy Graham from back in the 70s when they were doing a crusade. And so my mom fished that out for me.
Yes.
Right here we have Martin Luther King throwing up the peace sign. MLK, just what he stood for means a lot to us. And
just a good reminder to continue to fight for justice. And I just love the fact that it kind of looks like we took the photo too.
Yeah.
And it's like, we took it and we put it up here. So, and these are just pieces that we've collected over time. Love this irregular mirror too that I also antiqued.
I love history. And so this is, and I also love the Beatles. And so this is a Life magazine from the 60s of when Paul kind of separated with his family. He was out. So I love that. And then this is, I grew up on Tupac. And so this is Pac, this is Madonna, and this is Sting in 1994. So that's kind of a rare picture of them
also
all
looks like
out.
we were at that party.
Yeah, it looks like we're at the table.
I'm not a huge fan of like having, big photos of us together. So I kind of condensed them into smaller photos. This is a photo from our engagement shoot, and this is one from our wedding.
And then this is my grandmother and my grandfather on their honeymoon.
On a cruise, right?
On a cruise, yeah. And so it kind of reminds me like the Parent Trap photo.
Yeah, and then you came up with the idea to add the shelving, right?
Yeah, that was kind of the once we had the accent wall, the very first thing I wanted to do was put shelves across the top and then on the bottom to the left, because I don't know, just having a wall that feels like it has life. And I think books all have a different story and they kind of bring life to it. And then Andy brought the life with the gallery wall. So yeah, it came together.
We took pieces from that I collected before we got married, and then pieces that you had before we got married. So just kind of merged them and helped them make sense for us.
So this area, it was kind of hard to find what would work for this area. Andy actually found this. I think it was our first Facebook Marketplace purchase.
No, Value Village.
Value Village.
It was $100 on Value Village.
$100.
Which seemed like a lot because we were getting married, buying the house. I was like, oh, it kind of hurt, but I'm so grateful we got it.
Yeah, it was a good investment. And then I love music. I love old music, and so I have a lot of records. And so Amazon, this bad boy, but then it plays all of our old school records. I have a lot of old ones here on the side.
For our wedding gift, I gifted Marshall a record of his own music, and so I had it made for him, and that's what I gifted him for our wedding.
So that morning, I was really stressed out moving around, and there's a video of me receiving this gift, and I'm stressed out, I'm freaking out just because nothing's getting done, and I go and I sit down, and I see this gift, and it just stopped me in my tracks. I was like, all right, that is not why I'm here. I don't need to be stressed out. She reminded me by giving me this.
But I should mention you did plan our whole wedding.
Yeah.
I did very little.
Yeah. She was there. She got married.
I was there. These frames right here, I also antiqued, which I bargained for these because he was not wanting to let them go for a good price. So I'm really proud of these and I love them. I know they meant a lot to him, so it was really special for us to be able to bring them into our home. This is a book your dad gave you?
Yeah, he gifted me. I got a degree in psychology, so I love psychology. And this is a Christian directory, a practical side of psychology meeting Christianity. So it was a gift from my father.
Yeah. And then we love chrome. We love a chrome lamp.
Yeah, man.
When we bought the house and we were going to get married in 6 months, budget was tight. We wanted a beautiful home, but we had a budget. Yeah. And I believe we could do both. You can have a beautiful home and do it on a budget. So I think DIY was the way to go. And really, you just took off with building and construction and stuff. So you could talk about that.
So I think my first project was we had someone walking from our ditch behind our house to the front, And it happened a few times. And, you know, when people do that, they like to look around, see if they want to take something. So just for the safety of my wife, I was like, we need to build a fence. So I looked up how to build a fence. If you can build 8 feet of fence, you can build 800 feet of fence. So a few buddies of mine came in and we just learned how to build a fence. And then I did the back, and then I did the side, and then I did the other side. And then I was like, you know what? A little patio might be nice. So I did a patio and looked up some. If you look on YouTube, go to the comments, because you'll see real contractors showing you what not to do. So that's what I did. I watched how-to videos, and then I read all the comments of people who were like, this is gonna mess up, and then built a porch, and then built a Murphy bed, and then did a little L-shaped bench.
In our laundry room.
You know, learned how to do crown molding. Just kind of every single step of the way, you get one tool, you learn how to use that tool well, and you can apply that to the next project. So each project, I mean, I think the most challenging was the Murphy bed. Built-in cabinets look the most challenging, but try to build a Murphy bed and then come back and talk to me, because man, that thing was, I did not want to do that again.
I feel like you probably wish you never showed me these skills.
Man, she takes
every day. I'm like,
yes.
Every day I'm like, can you build me this?
She found out I could do something, and then she's like, we are DIYing everything. No matter what.
No matter what. We're saving money.
We want a couch, we're gonna build it. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah.
Oh man. If there's one thing that I've realized in doing any DIY stuff is, if someone was paying me to do it for their house, I think I'd be a little bit more hard on myself about the process, and I probably wouldn't do it. And then I do it for my own home, and people look at it as if it was done professionally, because most people don't know or don't realize how simple something is if you know the process and the steps. So don't be afraid to do step 1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, step 1 is getting the material. Step 2, once you got the material, you don't want it sitting around. You're gonna try to do something with it. So just get to step 1. You can do it. Like, it's a very easy thing to do once you know the process. Once you know the steps, you can do it.
And you get to enjoy the fruit of your labor after.
Straight up.
It's the best seeing a project complete.
Yeah, really. I got this little thing where I'll just like stare at a project for like a good 5-10 minutes. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, baby.
I'll just catch you on a stool in the laundry room just staring at it.
I'm like, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get to enjoy it. You get to enjoy it when you do it yourself. So now we're walking into our living room. As you can see, we have this couch that we got. This is probably the only thing I think we purchased that was new in our entire home.
That's true,
is this couch, yeah.
Yeah. I added these cute little pillows to give it some. It actually took me so long to find pillows. I'm just not the best at finding good pillows. And I think it adds a good little layer to our living room. Over here is our coffee table that's awesome for Facebook Marketplace, and a DIY candle that I made. It's not the best, but it smells really good.
Smells good.
And we have books. You'll see books all around our house, like this one that we also thrifted. Marshall loves history, so we like to collect books that reflect that. We've gotten a ton from our travels in Italy, and we like to bring them back and show them in our home. I actually DIY'd these matchbooks. It says Mav and Mercy's home, which has them back there, our little dogs, and we love them so much.
She undersells that. I don't know if you realize how hard it is to make a matchbook from scratch, but she DIY'd like an entire sheet and then got all the pieces. And so if you ever come to the house, get a matchbook.
Yeah, grab a matchbook. It makes me happy. On this side of the living room, we have an antique side table that I also got from Facebook Marketplace. It really meant a lot to the woman selling it to me. She had it from her grandfather, and so again, it means so much to us that people sell these things and we get to bring them into our home. And more books. This probably is my favorite chair in the house. My friend gifted this to me, and I'm so grateful because I think it just makes sense, you know?
Yeah.
Our dogs love it.
Sink into it.
Yeah, you sink into it. Our dogs love it. Our nieces and nephews love it. So definitely a good place here to hang.
So this is, I love board games. Board games just kind of bring people together in a competitive way, and I love being competitive. So if you come to the house, We have board games. I love Catan. She cannot stand Catan.
I don't like board games at all.
Yeah.
Also, our first date was a board game cafe, and it was like my worst nightmare, but it was fun.
So she told me she hated board games. So on our first date, I took her to play
I think
board
that's
games.
kind of a red flag, probably.
Yeah. Or it means that I'm willing to challenge her out of her comfort zone. So a little tip there.
I had a little wine. I was good.
And then right here we have some old school books. These are really like those really thick ones that just kind of have a lot of information.
Yeah.
You have like a one of movies, from movies all the way back to Charlie Chaplin days. Our century in pictures, so it's like all of the last 100 years and a bunch of different pictures. And then one about architecture in Egypt. And so I just love like how each different culture and each different era has its own flavor. So
these branches actually are from our backyard. When we were putting up the fence, there was a tree in the fence line, and we were so sad to have to cut it down. And so I just loved these branches and the way they zigzag. And it's just cool to like bring in a part of our home that was here previously and put it here. And also this ceramic vase. I am a huge fan of ceramics, and I just really value the art and the craftsmanship. And so I got this at a charity shop here in Houston. It is just perfect for this space right here. We always need extra stools, and our space is relatively small, so we use these a ton to host and to just put around the house as needed.
Yeah. This piece we got from someone who was clearing out their grandmother's stuff. I think this is from like the 70s, and we paid like $60 for it, and then just put matte black paint on it and went to town. And it's great. It has all these little nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
It's not real fire, and it also doesn't get hot. But when you come in, it looks good.
Not that you need it to get hot in Houston.
Yeah.
So then we also just added some books and more of Marshall's history books, and just lots of candles to layer the space and make it come to life. This is our famous rocker chair that Marshall loves to say that it's for our future children. We don't have yet, but it doesn't look that comfortable for babies. But it's a vintage IKEA rocking chair that we love, people love, and just kind of closes up this space too as we move into our dining-ish room, I would say.
It's a dining room.
It's a dining room. It's just smaller. These curtains my mom helped me make, and these curtain rods I actually made out of copper pipes. I hand painted every single ring to match the copper, and it took me a very, very, very long time, but I'm so proud of them, and I think they look so great in our space.
And then this table is a table that we found on Facebook Marketplace again. It was all wooden, and it actually came out to about right here. And we had a friend, Iran, he came through and he cut them back for us and allowed for us to kind of do what we wanted with it. So Andy had this idea to put concrete on top and sand it down. So we did like 4 layers of concrete, sanded it, and so it looks concrete, and then we just painted the base white. So
just to give it some texture and some life, I feel like it really grounded this space too. And just adding these wooden chairs, I think just really makes the space cohesive, makes sense with the rest of it too. And this light that I found at an antique shop too here in Houston, I think this was one of the first things that we put up too. We actually had a wall here, so it was hard to envision what this space was gonna look like, and you just kind of have to do it sometimes.
I was about to say, we put the light up before we had a table, before we knew what the space would look like. We were like, we want that light right there. We love how it has a lot of texture, has a lot of character. It's not cookie cutter in that way. So
we love to host people. I think it was one of just our favorite thing to do when we were newlyweds, and even just now too. We would have people over almost weekly. Marshall's so good at setting the table. I'm like actually impressed.
That's
and we love to have people over. I honestly cook a good salmon, I would say.
So we said we have a lot of firsts that we talk about. The first thing she made me was a dinner with salmon, and then she made me an old fashioned because I like old fashions. And so now when people come, that's like, I want them to experience that same salmon because it's so good. She does like a little orange. I'm not gonna give it away, but
don't give away
she
my
does something with
recipe.
it. And it's delicious.
So we love hosting people for drinks too, and dinners, and when we have our community group over, it's a packed house. So there's not a ton of seating, but we just bring those stools over here and it makes for a comfier, cozier dinner or hangout.
And there's something cool about sitting down, having intentional conversation and dinner, and then moving to the couch and kicking back, or going outside around the fire pit and kicking back. You know, you get to have both. You get to be intentional and then also get to relax. So
totally. Over here, we have a little bit of a Knickknack bookcase area. I didn't really know what to do here since this is kind of a wall that is kind of a flex wall, I would say. So we found this great piece from IKEA where we could just showcase all of our knickknacks that we've collected over time.
We have, so I love anything that it looks old and is old, and this has both of those components in it. So this is actually astronauts heading home from the moon, the Atlanta Constitution from 1969. So this is an original newspaper from back in the day. And then we got more of Andy's famous. Go ahead and check that out.
They're everywhere.
They're amazing. So
I make sure you take one. I added these old books too. Again, just for Marshall, really. I think it just kind of showcases him and what he loves. And so I added these old books, this cool candle. I made this little stand from a ceramic piece, and then just layered a little bit with some dried artichoke here, and this cool wooden bowl that I also got from a vintage shop. In here, we have a little bit of everything.
It's a plethora,
Yeah, we fostered this dog, Roscoe, and he sadly passed away. And so we have his football back there that he completely tore apart, and his little paw print. We really miss him. But
I don't think football was his sport.
It wasn't.
I don't think that was his sport. This right here is a grinder from my grandmother that she gifted to me years ago. So it's an old grinder that she had.
Yeah, we have more books. We have some stuff to make drinks down here and just kind of showcase a little things here and there. My sister-in-law gave me that awesome picture that she also got from her family. And so just little pieces that mean a lot to us and things that were gifted to us or things that we've collected in our travels. We like to showcase them here.
My sister, for our wedding, one of the things she did is she had a bunch of people take Polaroid pictures of us on our wedding. And then she gave us this book of all the Polaroids put together. And so one of our dogs chewed it up. And so
it adds to the character.
It adds to the character, so it's inside the thing. But shout out to Mary. She hooked us up with that.
Very sweet to have that. Yes. It's behind the scenes photos that your photographer, videographer don't get. So.
And we honestly, we love them more than the polished photos that we got from our photographers. So.
It's true. Nothing is too precious in our home. I feel like we love when people feel like they can come in, kick off their shoes, sit on the couch. It's really about, we value how people feel in our home.
Yeah, I think that's it right there. The feeling of feeling at home even in not your own space. And I love history, so I love antiques. And so anytime we go anywhere, one of our favorite things to do is find an antique shop and just go to town. She'll go on one side of the store, I'm on the other side. I'm usually around like the books and the magazines and stuff. And so because of that, a lot of our style is also very muted. Like you don't have a whole lot of bright in your face. And if you do, it's very intentional. Like we don't want like people coming in here and feeling like it's flashy and all up in their face. We want it to feel part of the room, you know?
Yes.
So welcome to our kitchen all the way over here. At one point there was a wall straight up and down right here and a door coming into the kitchen. And
my dream was to have a waterfall edge. And so we really try to make that happen by removing the wall. And also, it just creates like a good open space and also just having a smaller home. It really helps just bring people together too with having this space here.
Yeah, this was a very closed off area, and all the cabinets before this were painted shut. You know, it's the famous landlord paint, and so we were going to want to demo this, and I went to Home Depot to just pick up a bunch of cabinets. I got everything. I put them over here. My cousin does construction, David Ginter, and he came by and he was like, take those back to Home Depot. And
I'll take it from here.
And then he hooked it up and did these built-ins for us. And so we would not have this kitchen if it wasn't for David.
Yeah, we're really grateful. Over here, we have these matchbooks that I made Marshall. It's a gift to him. These are just spaces that are meaningful to him, like the Wild Horse Saloon. Like he would go there dancing with his mom every birthday for her.
Growing up.
Yeah, and so even like Barcelona, it's one of our favorite restaurants here in Houston. Love Incense. I found this photo of Fifth Ward back in the day of this person breakdancing, and I gifted it to Marshall because he grew up breakdancing.
Yeah, so I grew up breakdancing in a crew, and then I also spent a good chunk of my 20s in Fifth Ward, and loved the people out there. And so this was like, man, to see an old school photo like this from back in the day of original breakdancers in Fifth Ward, it just brought joy to my heart. So
Marshall, when he gifts me flowers or roses or whatever, I always grab one when they're ready to go, and I just plop it right here, and I've collected many over time. And so I just think it's cute to showcase. Maybe I need some more. I'm just kidding.
That's right. One flower a year. That's the standard right there.
We're actually super proud of this shade right here. We DIY'd it, and we think it looks so good. And it really was a game changer.
How did we DIY it? What was the?
How did we DIY it?
What was here before?
Just another blind.
Just a regular blind. We took it and then we cut up all the ones in between and then
glued it. It works
great.
It was such budget friendly, and it was great for this space.
Yeah. And then she also painted in here.
Yeah.
So instead of having to redo all the windows, because windows are a very, very costly project.
Yeah, these are old windows. So they had aluminum, and so I painted them to just cover it until we are in a space where we can get new windows for the whole house. And so it was a good, just budget friendly thing to do. I know older houses have obviously older windows, so.
And then we also got this shelving right here. I had the idea of doing 2 shelves, and Andy is like simplicity. And so she was like, let's do 1 shelf across the board. And so we got this wood from a spot down the street.
Yeah,
just got
lumber yard.
Yeah, 1 piece, and put them in. And man, we love them because it's simple. It's not doesn't take up a lot of space.
And it's fun to showcase different things. These are some coupes that we got in Milan last year. And so, gosh, to bring these back, it was crazy. We had so much luggage, and so we love to showcase these here. These are some ceramic mugs that we got from a shop that was closing. You'll see throughout our house, I love ceramics. I love collecting other people's ceramics. I love making pieces, and so I definitely wanted to have some pieces here.
One day we'll send y'all the link for her website so you can buy those. Yeah.
Maybe. We have some vinyls here, some records here, layered.
Prince, 1999.
Yeah. And so also added some cookbooks that I rarely use. And so just a good piece to have here. Some fun martini glasses here too when we host. They're just easy to grab.
So she wouldn't want me to say this, but this lamp has broken, I'm not even kidding, at least 3 or 4 times. And one night I spent just taking all the broken pieces and gluing it back together. So we've had it broken like this for at least 1.5 years. And it's holding up.
I was really upset. So it was sweet for him to glue it all back together.
Hey, but we're broken pieces that get glued back together ourselves, so.
Over here on this side, we have our stove top, and this is where the magic happens, I guess.
That's where I cook breakfast.
This is, you cook really great breakfast. And
cooks
so
amazing dinner.
Yeah, we love wood utensils. I got a lot of these from my travels to Zambia, and so I loved collecting them and bringing them back. And so we use these a ton, and just, this coffee machine gets some good use too. And it's a small space, but I really feel like we made good use of every nook and cranny that we could. And so it really just makes sense. It's just 2 of us. It makes sense for us. Yeah. And even if it were more, I think it still makes sense.
It's great. And then shout out to Tony. He helped install this right here. He's a good friend of ours. We wanted something right here, but it's hard to find something that is sleek and kind of matches the tone. So we got something chrome to kind of do the same thing.
Also over here off of the kitchen, we enter Marshall's man cave / studio.
That's right. So
Take it.
we had a lot of ideas for this room. And when I say we, I mean we. She told me, she's like, I want you to have your own space. You can do what you want. And then everything I did, she's like, maybe we should do it this way.
Just a little tweak here and there, a woman's touch.
Yeah, but no, man, it definitely brought the room to life. We love speakeasies. We love the old school. So when you come in, you can kind of see we have dark walls, dark ceiling. I have some diffusers on the ceiling to help with sound. We have this old school mirror, a lot of old school frames, very, very kind of speakeasy. Nothing's really formulaic in this room.
Yeah.
Before we had a comfortable couch out there, we used to spend the most time in here watching TV.
Yeah.
Because it was our only comfortable couch.
Yes.
And then if you come in here, you can see I have a lot of old school pictures. The oldest thing I own is from the 1800s as far as, you know, what's legible. So I got these Scientific American journals from the 1800s. This is from the 1969 premiere of Bonnie and Clyde. Got my boy Frank Sinatra right here. B.B. King, you know, just a lot of influences that I've had in music. And
some drawings we got from our travels.
Drawings. And then this is the little beat laboratory. You know, I love
where the magic happens.
I love creating with other creatives. And so music is really kind of brought to life in that way. And so I love being able to have sessions in here and just jam out and then start something from scratch and build from scratch. So yeah, man, this is where the magic happens.
So off of Marshall's man cave, we have this gallery wall. It's a little bit less curated. When we find something we love, we plop it here. There's still really meaningful pieces to us, like this one. My nephew Judah, we have him over quite a bit, and I had him do his homework. And I guess he got tired of me and stored it in our guest room closet. And so I actually got this 17 tattooed on me just to kind of have him, and just remember him. We really, really, really love him. And so it just meaningful to us. Right off of this hallway, we have our primary bedroom. This is kind of like a very simple, but I think it's like our place of peace when we are ready to go to bed. Over here we have this antique find that I got on Facebook Marketplace. It's such a good score and I'm so happy with it. I added this little dish where I put jewels and stuff. I DIY'd this mushroom lamp. It was one of my first own DIYs, and so I just have it here. It kind of works, kind of doesn't. I framed our, well, these are my journal entries from when our first date, when we got engaged and when we got married. And so I just love showcasing that. It's very personal to me and to you. And then I added some smaller photos from our wedding and from our engagement shoot just to showcase our love.
Yeah, that's really cool. This right here is a chair that used to be in our living room, and we used to sit in it. And ever since it got moved into the bedroom,
I know what you're gonna say.
We no longer sit in it. But Andy's clothes sit in it whenever they need to. So when we were curating this space, Andy was like, I want a really cool mirror, something that is just funky,
like irregular.
Yeah. So she found this dope mirror. I don't know where'd you find it from?
No idea.
And you found it.
It found us. Yeah. So again, I have these rods all over the house, the copper rods, and so I love the cohesiveness. Like every room is individual, but it makes sense with our home. On this side of the bedroom, I saw a Pinterest photo of a copper side table like this, and I summoned Marshall, and he made it for me.
That's right.
I'm just obsessed with this. It's so cute, and I put my ring here at the end of the day and my books to read, and then my dream headboard that Marshall made me.
So I freestyled this bad boy as far as the cut. We just she was like, I want something different. I want something that has a little bit of wave to it. And so we just freestyled the cut, glued two 3/4 inch together, and then stained it a cool color, and it's done.
I love it. I feel like it's us.
Yeah, and then you can see this window, and eventually we want to, right where this window ends, extend out maybe 10 or 15 feet, have a master bath, a master closet, and on the right of that would be kind of a little corridor area
that we'll see later.
Yeah, we'll see later. But that's kind of the plan for this room because there's only one bath in this entire house.
Which is okay for us right now, but in the future, if we stay here a little bit longer, we'd like to expand some.
That's right.
Over here on this side of the bed, we have another little Facebook Market find. I sanded it down. It was very dark wood, and I just think it works. It's a mixed match. It doesn't match the other one, but it works here, and it's great. And then we have some frames that we got in Milan of some horses. My mom grew up around horses in Mexico, and so anytime I see horses, it reminds me of my mom and of Mexico. We love going to visit my family, and so I just love having these little frames laid out like this.
Yeah, it's great. So down the hall is the guest room, and this is also Andy's office space / woman cave. So I'll let her.
This is my baby. I first color drenched this room green and quickly regretted it. And so then I color drenched it this amazing chocolate brown red color. It just screams me, I think. And so I'm obsessed with it. Here we have a desk, actually. It's a standing desk. I am a walking pad girly, so I like to get my miles in. And it also serves as a beautiful little space to showcase my books and my jewels and this cute chrome lamp. Here I added a copper sheet and I trimmed it, and I just have my memories up there, notes that Marshall has left me, some photos that people have given me, just things like that. I like to showcase that in here. This way is actually this DIY mirror that I made myself with fabric. I'm obsessed with this. You helped me do, baby. And so here on this wall, I have this beautiful walnut frames. My mom is right here. My mom is like my hero, and she is the most amazing person. And so I have her right here when she was younger. And this is me and my kindergarten party with my brother-in-law who passed away a couple years ago. So I just want to honor him and remember him in this space. Over here, I have a little banquet, just like a little nook area. Actually, it was your idea. It was Marshall's idea. And so
you fought it for a little bit.
I did fight it for a little bit,
around.
but it really is it just makes sense also with the Murphy bed. And so I'll sit here and work sometimes and make my way to my standing desk. And I just kind of like it. It gives it an office vibe. And
we also, I built it to have storage, again, more storage. And so when you lift this up, it has storage underneath for pillows and everything for the Murphy bed.
So it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect for smaller homes, like we said.
It works out.
And this Murphy bed was my dream. It was actually a Christmas gift for Marshall because I was probably just so annoying about wanting to get one in here because I didn't want an actual bed in here because I wanted space for me as well. And so he built this for us, and it's amazing, and it's so comfortable too. So on this side, I have our closets. This is also sort of a DIY. It was your typical bifold doors, and I added trim and painted them, and I feel like it really elevated the doors.
Yeah.
And they don't look cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So.
And that was all her. I was playing the background on that. So she got that muscle now too.
Over here, I have these little frames. They're called nichos. They are handmade in Mexico, and it's just a little reflection of my Mexican culture that I love so much to showcase. And so I added some photos of Polaroids from our wedding and different places that we've been to. So that's this room, and I just love it so much. It really is my own escape place and my place of peace too.
That's right.
I started a hobby / Instagram page. It's called La Casita by Andy. I started it when I lived with my mom, and I just wanted to give her house a little more life and a little more love and depth to it. And so we just started doing little projects. I started with my room there, and then her bathroom, and I started adding little things here and there, some DIY stuff, and it all just came to life when we bought this house because it was our own, it was mine, and we can, run with it and do creative things and make mistakes and start over, and so I just kind of ran with it. It's just my little side hobby, and I really, really love it.
But she is the bargain queen, so she'll go on Facebook Marketplace. She'll find stuff that normal people would pay a couple grand for and get it for a couple hundred. And so I think she has that muscle. She has that like really good muscle of just seeing a deal, seeing something that is going to look good, even if someone's like, hey, I'll give it away for free. She's like, we'll take it, you know? She can apply that to someone else's home, but yeah, I think when she had her own home, it all came to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love a good deal. I would say like 85% of our home
All
is
Facebook Marketplace.
Facebook Marketplace,
Yep.
antiques, thrift stores. We just really enjoy finding those gems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the house was from the 50s, so most of our stuff should be from the 50s, you know? So.
No way. We're about to head outside, but first I want to show you guys our laundry room.
Yeah, so kicking it off, we have this door here, and there used to just be a regular door. And when I was getting the doors for the garage, they had told me this door was not picked up, and they were going to give it away for like $125. And so that was a steal. And I was like, I think I know a place we can put it. I've never installed a door before until this one. And if you haven't done it, it takes a very long time if you don't know how to shim it correctly and get it where it needs to go. But you know, it took me longer to get there, but I got there.
We're also big fans of not staining wood, so we left most of it just raw wood. Yeah,
raw.
Same with our kitchen; it's all raw wood. So
even the trim that we installed was all raw.
Yeah, this area right here we just finished, and it was all done by Marshall. He built all of the cabinets, and I'm obsessed. Now I want to do laundry all day.
Yeah, so it was a stretch. I had never done a cabinet before. I had done shelves, but doing this cabinet was a little stretch. This right here is actually a sketch of what we originally envisioned, and it's exactly what it is. So it's just it's cool to see something like this that, you know, we're going to be using every single day, day in, day out, come to life like this. We got the stone, the top. Andy wanted a remnant. I'm a big wood guy, but Andy was like, I want a remnant for this.
Well, we needed a remnant because we didn't want to buy a huge slab for this. So we were in search of a remnant, and we scored on this beautiful Taj Mahal. And it just really brought out the paint color really brought out the stone. And so we're just so happy that we found it.
Yeah. It was Majestic Stone
in Houston.
In Houston that we got this remnant on, and then they also cut it and fabricated it for us. So shout out to them, and they killed it.
This is one of my favorite parts of it. Marshall had this idea of, we had a hamper here before, and he's like, what if we just kind of made somewhat of a hamper look? And so it's easy for us to put our clothes in here, and then we pull it out to do laundry. So on this little piece right here, we do have a water heater back here. So I was like, what can we do to like just cover up the ugly water heater? So I got this awesome fabric from Fabric Warehouse in Maine, and made a curtain, and it just covers it up. And you know, you do what you can with what you have.
That's right.
You know, not everything has to be perfectly perfect, you know. So we added this curtain, and it makes sense. And same with these shades. We made them, and so we're really proud of those.
So one of the little DIY tip for anyone who's going to do a built-in, especially around a washing machine or anything that has plugs in the back, here's something I did is I have a little magnet connecting the door, so when you open it, it shuts. But this allows, if anyone ever needs to do maintenance on the machine, they can just come, open it up, they have easy access, and we don't have to pull this thing out or tear anything out. Yeah. So just, you know, little practical things. We also wanted to make use of this tiny space. I think it was about 5.5 inches. And so we put a little door there where all of our brooms and mops and stuff can go. So yeah.
I also want to mention our wallpaper. We DIY'd this as well. I went to the fabric store and found a fabric that I loved. I really wanted to play with some color, but also some shapes. And so I grabbed this one. I think it was just so cool. And we literally wallpapered it as if it was real wallpaper with wallpaper glue. And that thing is on. And I think it just is so affordable. And I think it really just made this room super cool and give it some layers too.
Yeah, because I don't know if y'all know about inflation, but wallpaper is going up.
I know.
It is so expensive.
It is so expensive. So, we love finding a good DIY.
Joann's is closing, by the way. And so if you want to get fabric, go to Joann's. They got deals right now.
Oh, goodness. Right? On this side of our laundry room, we have our pantry. Because we have a relatively small kitchen, we added our pantry over here. We have our dry food, and it just made sense for us to put it over here. And it kind of looks like it's part of the laundry room, so it made sense here. We scored this awesome Facebook Marketplace piece, and this is where I store all of our linens, my crafts, everything goes here. We have a small house, an older house, and so closet space is terrible.
Minimal, yeah.
So we have this space for that, which is so, so helpful.
And it used to be my tool area. So all my tools are right here.
Yeah.
And so once we got my tools out and over to the garage, this was like
so free for me to.
Just a blessing.
Yeah, totally. I decorated this with some candles, more books, some incense, a piece from Lauren Elsie. And this is where I keep, when I go to the store and find like a cute card, like a happy birthday card, I'll put them in here. So it's always good to have when it's a birthday. You can just find one that makes sense.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, baby.
Over here we have the shades that we also DIY'd that we're super proud of, and I think it really just makes the room look great. Now we can head outside to see our garage. It had a huge transformation.
So this is the first piece of our garage that we got done. There used to be a really messed up garage door that wouldn't work. Everything was all jacked up about it. So I closed it, I put a wall, and I put these boards, which I think is meant for a closet space, like the backing of a closet or interior. But I threw some good sealing on it to make sure it's outdoor friendly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we wanted to have something from curb appeal to look clean,
yeah.
so it still looks like a working garage. And then Andy had these ideas.
So I added these cute little copper lighting fixtures here. I think it really just gives it a little pop. Over here we have our gym, but before I show you that, I was dreaming up a space where we can come and drink our coffees in the morning. And so I really wanted a porch in the front. And of course, Marshall made it happen.
Yeah, I love watching videos and how people do it. So I kind of took all the different videos of watching people do porches and I combined them. And so this thing is pretty rock solid.
Yeah, our friends like to joke that if any natural disaster happens, our house will go, but this porch is gonna stay here. So it's gonna stay on pretty sturdy there.
And it's a good place for us to chill, drink some coffee away from the sun.
Yeah.
Relax. We kind of wanted like this to be its own little space away from the house.
Yeah. So in here is our gym that we want to show you.
All right, well, welcome to our garage. This has been a space that we have envisioned time and time again of what it would look like and how it would come together. And it came together. So we want to walk y'all through it a little bit. This is my work area. This is where all my tools transition from the laundry room into the garage. All of these old school tools, a friend of ours, their grandfather was giving the tools away. He's in his 80s. And it felt very surreal to have another man pass his tools off to you. All the projects he's done. I think when he was showing me this hammer, he was thinking of all the paint cans in the last 40, 50 years that he's hit with this thing. And so just to be able to, inherit that, I kind of want to put them on display and just a reminder that, hey, one day I might pass my tools off to somebody and that'll be a huge moment. And so I want to cherish them while I got them. Yeah. This is just a space with all that. I'm not a golfer, but I got some golf clubs. So, I'm learning. And then we wanted to have more storage. Again, with the small house, storage is hard. And so envisioning this space, I always envisioned having some built-in cabinets. So these were my first cabinets I've ever built. Yeah. And I love how they turned out. I couldn't find any that were huge like this under a price point that made sense. And so
just build it.
Build it. Hey, take some birch 4x8s and run it. And so came together. The main piece, this is where this garage kind of inspired from the jump, was to have a space for Andy to do her ceramics, because she is super creative and eventually she's going to kill it with being able to sell them and do all that. But she just wants a space to create on her own. So this was the space that I wanted to make for her.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I feel like I was going through a hard season. I was just overworking and I didn't really have my own hobby. And so my sisters and my mom gifted me with a little course at a local ceramic shop here in Houston. And so it kind of like inspired me, and I just feel like it brought life into me again. And so Marshall built me this amazing little studio space. And so I'm just really grateful. I could cry. I'm really grateful for it, and just excited to just be creative here. So yeah. Over here on this end is kind of my baby, I feel.
That's right.
I've always dreamt of having a gym, and so Marshall built this insane little space and really maximized on the space that we had. Do you want to talk about what you did?
Yeah, so I love boxing and conditioning, and I love more calisthenics. I'm not a big weight person, so I've had this in here the longest. And right after we had this, we found a deal on these weights.
Mm-hmm.
And so Andy would work out in here when there was like, the floor was all jacked up. There was no walls. It was burning up in here.
And cobwebs.
It was kind of like Hot Works, but 2.0.
Yeah, and a sauna.
And a sauna. And so to have a space where I can do my stuff, and then I've also started using weights, and it's simple. You don't need a whole lot to stay in shape.
Yeah, we're really trying to stay healthy. On this end, we have we added a little fridge just for easy access for water. It has some hair ties, some gloves to lift weights and box, and so we love this space so much, and welcome our friends to use it for a small fee of $30 a month.
That's right. I was about to say, there's nothing like being able to cancel your gym membership for your own space.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a type to go to the gym.
Yeah.
So this is probably the first time I've consistently worked out in years.
It's true. It's great to have your own space. So we love these weights, and we have yoga mats, a yoga ball, jump ropes, this cool little disinfectant situation. And so we also added a cool little a side table here, which is the pair to the one we have in our living room. And I think it brings a touch of vintage in here.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of that. And so I loved incorporating that in here.
4 walls are great, but if there's chaos in those 4 walls, it can be a place of destruction. It can be a place where you're not finding peace, where you're not at home, where you're it's a place of just turmoil or anguish. It can easily go to that spot. And so one thing that has been consistent in this home is us realizing that we love all this stuff, but this is not the end goal.
Yeah.
Right? Because if we're not good, it doesn't matter how pretty everything looks. It's not gonna matter at the end of the day. And so we have good community. We have a solid church. We have a relationship with God that really influences how we interact with each other, how we forgive each other, how we show grace to one another. And if you're not doing that, it doesn't matter how pretty the home looks, it's not gonna feel like home.
Yeah, I think we really value community and memories being made more than something looking pretty. Laughter in this home, just inviting people in our home and them feeling welcome. That makes a home more than how pretty or how curated it is.
Yeah, those people that you're walking with, we can invite them in, and hard seasons, they can lift you up. Good seasons, they can celebrate with you, know, in a space where we can do that. So when I got my very first place, I used to live by myself in a 400 square foot efficiency. And my bed was a couch because I wanted to make sure when we had Bible study or something, we can invite people in. Then I moved into something a little bit bigger. It was still an efficiency. It was like 550 square feet. 150 goes a long way. And I always envisioned of having a space where we could cut loose, do what we want to do, have tools. And now that we have that space, it's kind of like when you have something, you forget to cherish it. You forget what it means. And so I think even that question of what is home, what does it mean to us? I think it's something that we have to remind ourselves, like we are very blessed to be able to have a home that we can do this kind of stuff to. Not everybody can tear down a wall because, paying rent, you can't do that if you don't have a mortgage, it's not yours. And so just to really say, man, thank God for the fact that we have gotten to a place where we can do DIY stuff. And if someone's not there, just like all those years that I had that itch, or like Andy had that itch to want to do that stuff, You can still stretch that muscle in different ways. But man, that being a home, like, having a home that we take advantage of. And then just us having a place where we can call our own, that we can disconnect from the chaos outside of this place, whatever it is, with work, relationships, family. It could be anything, and we get to disconnect and just, have a place to retreat.
Yeah, I feel like our home is our safe haven. It's a place of safety and rest, and not only us feeling that, but other people that can be in here feeling that is what home is to me, And that starts here. It starts with us cultivating that in our own home first. All right, Homeworthy, thanks for stopping by.
Appreciate y'all. We love you. Thanks for entering our space, seeing our home.
We're gonna go work out now.
Gotta go.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content, shopping guides, and so much more.